Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you're watching this. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Caitlin Connor, and today I thought I'd go through the books I've read so far this year. It's not a ton. I'm not like, Haley fam or some more out there that read, like 7 books in a month. So far, I've read 7 books this year. That's a realistic goal for me. I work full time, so usually I'm reading during breaks or a lunch break. Most of the time it's before I go to bed to help wind down at the end of the day and to be able to sleep well. So I thought I would go through the books that I've read so far, tell you the rating that I've given them so far, and maybe a little bit about the book too. I have this notebook that I've been keeping track of all the books that I've read so far this year. So it's right there. It has all of the titles and the stars that I've given them. But the first book I read was The Unhoneymooners, and I gave that one 3 stars. It wasn't my favorite. It's your stereotypical romance book. It has the enemies to lover trope in it. So if you're into that, it was pretty good. It wasn't my favorite. It was pretty predictable and I didn't love the character, so I kind of just gave it a 3 out of 5 because it wasn't my favorite, but it was entertaining to read. The second book I read was called A Million Junes, and this book was really good. I gave this book 4 stars. I just thought it was a really good book. It was a really interesting concept. You have a little bit of forbidden love in there and some family drama. Has a little bit of like a fantasy realm in there. So it was really good. I enjoyed that one a lot. The next book I read was called Better Than the Movies, and this one was really cute. This author has done both like teen romance and young adult. This one I think is in her teen category. It was cute, 2 students in high school. Her old crush moves back into town and she gets her neighbor to try to help her look good to her friend that just moved back, and we watch how all that unfolds. I gave Better Than the Movies 4 stars. The next book I read was Funny You Should Ask. I don't have a lot to say about this book. I didn't really enjoy it. I gave it 1 star. So sorry if someone who's watching loved that book, but I just didn't really enjoy it. It was hard. I didn't even want to pick it up. So next. The 5th book that I read was called Something Wilder. This book was really good. It's Christina Lauren's newest release. You have romance, treasure hunt, mystery. You kind of just, I don't know, as I kept reading, more things kept happening, so it keeps you wanting to know more. So sorry if the angle's a little bit different. My camera died, so let's pick up back where we were. But I gave Something Wilder 3 stars because there was just a lot of scenes that were just kind of jammed packed a little too much, and it was just moments where you had to kind of set the book down and be like, okay, a lot just happened, and not in a good way and not in a bad way, just in a sense of too much going on for one scene, and there were a lot of those. So for me, that wasn't super enjoyable because I feel like they were trying to put too much in or make it too much like a movie, where it just didn't really make sense and it was just going too far. But I love Christina Lauren and their books, so I'll keep reading them. The next book I read was Daisy Jones and the Six, and I gave that 4 stars. It's about a really popular band in the 70s, and they're adding a new member to the band and how that goes and how band life is in the 70s, and there's drugs and rock and roll and everything in between. What I really liked about that book is even though there was a lot of talk about a lot of negative things, it was never shown in a light that made it seem like you have to do this or glorified in a way, and I really liked that. And you got to learn about each character a little bit and what they're going through. Also, the format of the book is all interview style. There's never any like page dialogue in a sense of, a normal book where it's like, she said this, but it'll be like, Daisy Jones and the Six. Daisy, well, I da-da-da-da-da, so it's like it goes in each person. It almost looks like a script. But I felt like that was really interesting. It kind of made me more intrigued to read because it felt like you were reading more of like an article of something than just a normal book. The book I just finished literally yesterday is called The Great Alone. This book was a lot. I gave it 4 stars, but it's about a family that is going through a lot and they moved to Alaska to see if that will help some family issues and different things like that. This book, honestly, I had to set it down a couple of times because especially towards the end, I was like, oh my goodness, there's so much going on. Am I going to cry? Some triggering things in there, so I would look that up if you have any triggers to certain family dynamics and things like that. But overall, it was a really good book. It's a very real life story. Some ups, lots of downs, some good, a lot of ugly, and everything in between. So it was a really, really good book. It was a long book, but it was worth getting through and reading it. It was so intriguing. It kept me coming back and wanting to read more. And in the end, it has a really good ending, so I was happy with it. I also have a book in the category that I did not finish, and that was called Things We Never Got Over. I just could not get into this book. It took me over a month just to get almost halfway through the book. I just was not enjoying it. I was not connecting with the characters, and also it's just one of those books that immediately when I started, I knew how it was gonna end and I just wasn't interested. So after a month of trying and trying, I ended up just determining that I was not gonna finish it, and I closed that and put it away. That was a little sad because I ended up wasting a lot of time on it, but it happens. I am trying to do a reading challenge this year. So last year I got the app Goodreads and I started tracking the books that I was reading, and I was just doing it for fun, not seeing how many I could read. I just read all last year, and I ended up reading 23 books, which was the most I've ever read in a year. So I was very proud of myself. So this year I am doing a challenge, and I just want 1 book up because I felt like I read a lot last year for my schedule, and not a lot has changed in my schedule. So I'm doing 24 books. I am 7 books in. I'm about to start my 8th book. Technically in the challenge, I'm 2 books behind. So I need to start reading a lot more, but I feel like I get more motivated to read during the summer for some reason. So I already have 1 book that I'm about to start that I know I'm going to get through super fast, and another book that's on its way that I'm going to read on my summer trip that's coming up in a few weeks. So I'm really excited to get through those, and hopefully I will get the ball rolling so I can hit those 24 books by the end of the year. All right, well, that's it. Thank you for sticking around to the end to see all the books that I've read and hearing just a tiny bit about them and what I thought about them. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like it and subscribe, and tell me, what books are you reading this year? And if you have any suggestions, go ahead and comment them down below. Are you doing any challenges? I would love to know that too. I hope you have a great rest of your day, whether it's still day or night, and I will see you next time. Bye guys.